Y'all, Justin Kirk Frost didn't just win in court, he absolutely demolished Jasmine like she never even existed. The internet is shallow. Let's be real, did anyone see this coming? We all thought Kirk was about to take an L, but nope. This man pulled off the biggest courtroom comeback since Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. But what does this mean for Jasmine? Oh baby, it's bad, real bad. We're talking life-changing, bank account destroying, PR nightmare level bad. Did Kirk just play chess while Jasmine was out here playing checkers? Was this his revenge move after all these years? And more importantly, what did Jasmine do to deserve this level of karma? Buckle up because the tea is boiling hot and we're about to spill every last drop. Y'all, let's get straight to it. Kirk Frost just pulled the ultimate Uno reverse card on Jasmine, and trust me, it's uglier than we ever imagined. This isn't just a legal win, this is a full-blown courtroom massacre. Jasmine's entire reality got flipped, twisted, and thrown straight into the garbage disposal. How did we even get here? How did Kirk, of all people, manage to finesse the system and leave Jasmine in the dust? Well, let's break it all the way down. Now, if y'all have been keeping up, you already know that Jasmine and Kirk's history is messier than a reality TV reunion fight. Years ago, Jasmine came through with the mother of all bombshells, claiming that Kirk Frost, the so-called devoted husband of Rashida, was out here playing house with her and even had a whole child. The drama exploded. The internet was on fire. Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta ratings skyrocketed, and Kirk's reputation was trashed. But Jasmine? Oh, she was living it up. She had the blogs, the fans, and the court of public opinion all on her side. For a while, it seemed like Kirk was done for. But fast forward to now, and boom, plot twist. This man didn't just escape this mess. He turned the tables so hard that now it's Jasmine gasping for air. So, what went down in court? Oh baby, grab your snacks. Kirk came in with the legal dream team straight out of a Netflix thriller. We're talking high-powered attorneys, receipts on receipts, and a strategy so cutthroat that Jasmine didn't stand a chance. The judge took one look at the evidence and basically said, "Jasmine girl, pack it up." See, while Jasmine was busy enjoying the attention, Kirk was out here playing chess. He started by poking holes in her credibility, bringing up her past inconsistencies, her alleged history of targeting wealthy men, and even some shady financial moves that had the court raising eyebrows. And then came the kicker, the financial receipts. Turns out Kirk had been paying Jasmine for years, not just for child support, but for extra expenses that had nothing to do with their son. We're talking luxury apartments, shopping sprees, and wait for it, alleged hush money. That's right, y'all. Kirk made it look like Jasmine was out here cashing in on his name, rather than being a struggling single mother. And when those bank statements hit the courtroom, game over. Let's talk about Jasmine's reaction because, sis was not ready. You could see it all over her face, pure shock, panic, and the realization that she walked straight into a trap. And the internet? Oh, the internet was eating this up. The same people who once rode for Jasmine were now clowning her, dragging her, and calling her out for trying to play Kirk, only to end up playing herself. Even some of her old supporters switched sides, saying, well, maybe Kirk isn't the bad guy after all. The narrative flipped overnight. Jasmine went from the victim to the villain in record time. Now let's talk about Rashida. You know, everyone was watching her reaction like a hawk. The woman who stood by Kirk through scandal after scandal, who got embarrassed on national TV. Because of this whole mess, what was she thinking? Well, rumor has it that Rashida had the last laugh. Sources say she never doubted that Kirk would come out on top. In fact, some people are whispering that she might have even helped him behind the scenes. Yo, if Rashida was in on this courtroom takedown, then Jasmine never had a fighting chance. And the real kicker, the judge's ruling wasn't just a slap on the wrist. Oh no, this was a full-on financial death sentence. Jasmine walked into that courtroom thinking she was about to get some kind of victory, maybe even a payday. But instead, she walked out owing Kirk. That's right, after reviewing everything, The judge decided that Jasmine had taken advantage of Kirk's financial support and ruled that she had to pay back a significant amount. Y'all, let that sink in. She went from calling the shots to literally having to cough up money to the very man she was trying to expose. But hold up, because we've got to talk about what this means for her future. See, Jasmine was banking on this whole situation to keep her relevant. She had TV deals, social media endorsements, and a whole career lined up based on her narrative as the wronged woman. But now, that story is dead. Brands are pulling out, opportunities are vanishing, and let's be real, her reputation is in shambles. And if she thought she could just move past this quietly, well, the internet had other plans. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok were on fire. Memes, reaction videos, people revisiting old clips, and pointing out the cracks in her story from the beginning. It was brutal. The hashtag Jasmine fumbled was trending for hours, and even celebrities were jumping in, throwing shade and cracking jokes. One industry insider even said, "This is the worst public L I've seen since that one influencer tried to cancel themselves for clout." But y'all, here's where things get even crazier. Get ready, because sources close to Jasmine are saying she's not taking this lightly. She's furious, embarrassed, and plotting her next move. Word on the street is that she's gearing up to expose Kirk and Rashida on a whole new level, dropping so-called hidden secrets that could allegedly ruin them both. Whether she actually has dirt or is just desperate to stay relevant remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this war isn't over yet. And let's not forget the other key players in this mess. Jasmine had some pretty powerful allies in her corner. People who hated Kirk and were rooting for her to take him down. But now that she's lost, what happens to them? Are they still riding for her, or are they quietly backing away to save face? Because let's be real, nobody wants to be associated with this level of humiliation. Then there's Kirk, the man who somehow came out of this mess not just clean legally, but also in the eyes of the public. His reputation has done a full 180. The same people who were dragging him for cheating are now calling him a mastermind. He's getting praise for outsmarting the system, and believe it or not, some folks are even calling this a redemption arc. Y'all, Kirk Frost, the same man who was getting clowned just a few years ago, is now being hailed as a genius. What kind of plot twist is this? But before we start handing out trophies, let's not forget that while Kirk may have won the battle, has he really won the war? Jasmine may be down, but she ain't out. If she's really sitting on some explosive secrets, this victory lap might be cut short. The next few weeks are going to be crucial, and you already know we'll be keeping our eyes on every little update. So what do y'all think? Did Kirk play this perfectly, or is Jasmine about to pull off a comeback? And most importantly, what happens next? Stay locked in, because this tea is far from cold. We've only just begun. Now, at this point, the courtroom was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop as Jasmine sat there, eyes darting around, probably realizing that she had walked straight into a trap. Kirk Frost's legal team had receipts, evidence, and a strategy so airtight that even a NASA engineer would be impressed. And just when we thought the drama couldn't get any juicier, boom, Kirk's lawyer pulled out the big guns. Apparently, Jasmine had been running her mouth a little too much. Those social media rants, the interviews, the so-called exclusive tea she was spilling about Kirk. Yeah, turns out all of that came back to bite her in the worst way. The court had proof that Jasmine had been intentionally misleading people, twisting facts, and straight up fabricating details to make Kirk look bad. And let's be honest, wasn't this her whole game from the start? She wanted the sympathy, the clout, the attention, and let's not forget the money. Driving Kirk through the mud was turning into her personal little business. But now that business just got shut down. Kirk's lawyers didn't just poke holes in Jasmine's story. They ripped it apart like a cheap knockoff designer bag. Exhibit after exhibit, they showed the judge how Jasmine had manipulated texts, edited screenshots, and even twisted timelines to make Kirk seem like the villain. And remember when she claimed that Kirk was dodging child support? Yeah, big lie. Court records showed that Kirk had been making regular payments. In fact, not only was he paying, but there were also receipts proving that he went above and beyond, handling extra expenses that Jasmine never mentioned. Oh, but wait, it gets better. Just when we thought the case couldn't get any messier, Kirk's team revealed something that had everyone gasping. Jasmine had been making side deals with media outlets, selling stories, and milking this whole drama for every penny. And guess what? Some of those deals required her to keep the controversy alive, meaning she had an incentive to drag Kirk through the mud, even if it meant lying. And y'all, the receipts were right there. Signed contracts, payment records, emails. It was all on display for the judge to see. At that moment, Jasmine's entire world started crumbling. She wasn't just losing in court. Her credibility, her reputation, everything she had built off this drama was collapsing right in front of her. And you know the internet wasn't going to stay quiet about this one. The second news broke that Jasmine had been exposed, social media went into full meltdown mode. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform was flooded with memes, reactions, and people dragging Jasmine for filth. Some fans were still writing for her, saying she got caught up, was just trying to survive, but most people, they were not having it. So you mean to tell me we've been defending this woman for years and she's been lying the whole time? Kirk ain't innocent, but damn, Jasmine really played us all like that? Then came the celebrities. You know it's real when even other reality stars and influencers start chiming in. One influencer posted, "This is why I don't believe half the exposes y'all post. People will lie for attention and y'all eat it up every time." Another reality star added, "Jasmine thought she was about to be the next victim turned hero. But sis, the truth always wins." And let's not forget the memes. The internet was having a field day with those. People were posting clips of Jasmine looking stressed in court, comparing her to reality TV villains, and even throwing in some classic Maury, "You are not the father" energy. Now let's talk about the real consequences. This wasn't just about public embarrassment. Jasmine was about to take a massive financial hit. First off, with the court ruling in Kirk's favor, he was no longer on the hook for any extra money beyond the original child support agreement. No more bonuses, no more extra payments, nothing. Second, because of all the lies that got exposed, there was a very real chance that Kirk's legal team could sue for defamation. And if that happened, oh baby, Jasmine could be looking at millions in damages. And don't forget about the brands and endorsements. Before this mess, Jasmine had been building up her influencer empire, sponsorships, brand deals, collaborations, you name it. But after getting exposed, brands were backing out left and right. One source close to an agency said, "No company wants to be associated with a liar. She's a liability now." And just like that, the sponsorship checks started drying up. What makes this even crazier is that this whole situation started because Jasmine thought she could outsmart the system. She thought she could manipulate the court of public opinion, paint herself as the victim, and force Kirk into submission. But instead, she played herself. Because let's be real, people might love a good scandal, but they hate being lied to. And once the internet turns on you, it's over. By the end of the trial, Jasmine wasn't just losing the case, she was losing everything. As she walked out of that courtroom, head down, avoiding the paparazzi, you could tell she knew it. But don't think for a second that this is where the story ends. Because just when we thought Jasmine had hit rock bottom, new reports started surfacing about possible legal consequences. That's right. There were whispers that Jasmine's financial dealings and social media antics might have actually crossed into fraud territory. One source even claimed that there was talk of an investigation into whether she committed perjury by lying under oath. And if that turns out to be true, woo, this might not just be a pure nightmare. Jasmine could be looking at actual jail time. Now, we're not saying it's a done deal, but let's just say things are not looking good for her. And as for Kirk, he walked out of that courtroom looking like a champion, because while Jasmine's world was crumbling, his reputation just got a major boost. Now, the question on everyone's mind is, what's next? Is Jasmine about to disappear from the spotlight forever, or is she going to try to fight back? One thing's for sure, this story ain't over yet. Stay tuned because we'll be bringing you every update as soon as the next bombshell drops. Just when we thought Jasmine couldn't sink any lower, the fallout from the trial started getting even worse. If she thought losing in court was the worst thing that could happen, she was dead wrong. Because the internet, the media, even people who once supported her, they were all turning against her. The thing about social media is, people might ride for you when they think you're the victim, but the moment they find out you've been lying, oh, they'll drag you through the mud without a second thought. And that's exactly what started happening to Jasmine. Overnight, her follower count started dropping. Fans who once supported her were now in her comments demanding answers. Some were calling her a scammer. Others were straight up clowning her. And then there were the ones who were just disappointed because they actually believed her. She's just as bad. Lying for money is crazy. But the real damage that was happening behind the scenes? See, after the trial, brands weren't just cutting ties with Jasmine. They were demanding refunds. Some companies had paid her for sponsored posts, thinking she was a credible influencer. But now they didn't want their name associated with her at all. One insider leaked that she's getting hit with breach of contract claims left and right. Companies want their money back, and they're not playing. And if that wasn't enough, Jasmine was also losing friends. Some of the same reality stars and influencers who once stood by her were now acting like they never knew her. One former associate even went live and said, "Listen, I was trying to be supportive, but I had no idea she was lying like that. I can't stand behind that." Then came the bombshell that nobody saw coming. Reports started surfacing that Jasmine wasn't just losing money. She was struggling to keep up with her own legal fees. Apparently, after losing to Kirk, she had to cover certain court costs. And with her endorsements drying up, she was running out of options fast. One close source revealed she's scrambling. She thought she'd be getting sympathy money from fans, but instead, people are just laughing at her. And y'all know it got bad when she started a GoFundMe. That's right, Jasmine actually launched a crowdfunding campaign claiming she was financially ruined and needed help rebuilding her life. Her caption read, "I've been through so much, the media has twisted the truth, and now I'm left with nothing. If you believe in justice, please help me get back on my feet." But guess what? Nobody was buying it. The comment section was brutal. People were posting clown emojis, roasting her and reminding her that she did this to herself. One person wrote, "Not you begging for money after lying on that man for years. Girl, be for real." Another said, "Kirk should donate $1 just to be petty." And just when we thought the humiliation couldn't get worse, it did. Because Jasmine didn't just lose in the court of public opinion. She might be losing in an actual court again. That's right. Remember how Kirk's team hinted at a possible defamation lawsuit? Well, turns out they weren't bluffing. According to legal insiders, there were serious discussions about going after Jasmine for damages. And if this case goes through, she could be looking at $1 million lawsuit. One lawyer weighed in, saying, if Kirk pursues this aggressively, Jasmine could be on the hook for a serious payout. And from what we're hearing, she doesn't have the money to fight this, which means she might have to declare bankruptcy. It's bad, and the worst part, even her own family is turning their backs on her. A cousin of Jasmine allegedly went on Facebook and said, "I told her to stop lying. I told her to just take the L and move on." But she didn't want to listen. Now look. Her own people were distancing themselves from her. At this point, the only question left is, where does she go from here? Because let's be real, Jasmine's reputation is in shambles. She can't go back to being an influencer. She can't milk this drama anymore. And unless she finds a way to flip the narrative, she's looking at a long road ahead. Some people are saying she might try to do a redemption arc, maybe go on a podcast, cry a little, and claim she was misunderstood. Others think she might disappear for a while and come back when people forget. But let's be real, the internet never forgets. Meanwhile, Kirk, he's thriving. Not only did he walk away with a victory, but now he's getting the biggest W of his career. But here's the real kicker. This might not even be the end of the drama. According to fresh reports, there are rumors that Jasmine's past dealings are being investigated. That's right, people are now questioning if this was her first time pulling a stunt like this. One anonymous source said, "This isn't the first time Jasmine has tried to finesse a situation. People are talking, and there might be more coming out." If that's true, we might be looking at an even bigger scandal down the road. But for now, Jasmine is broke, exposed, humiliated, and quite possibly done forever. As for Kirk, he just walked away with the biggest win of his career. And that's how you play the game the right way. Stay tuned, because if there's one thing we know about messy situations like this, it's that the drama is never really over. This whole situation is straight up wild. But what do y'all think? Did Jasmine get what she deserved? Or do you think she can still bounce back from this mess? And what about Kirk? Was he playing chess the whole time? Or did he just get lucky? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insane updates on the craziest celebrity drama. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay locked in, and I'll catch you all in the next one.